Now, I'm not sure if you've been informed about this or not, but I wanted to let you know something, and it's this. Coaching has now become the second largest growth industry worldwide on planet Earth right now. Now, I want to let you just allow that to sink in for a moment. I'll say it again. Coaching has just become the second largest growth industry worldwide on planet Earth. Now, what does that mean? It means that right now, more so than ever before in the history of the world, is the very best time for people like yourself to take that next step and jump on board the coaching industry. Now, I believe one of the core reasons, or some of the core reasons why it is such a growth industry, is because it's an occupation where daily you get to change people's lives. It's an occupation where you get to set your own hours. And it's an occupation that has a truly uncapped income. And I don't know about you, but for me, that ticks a whole lot of positive boxes when picking a career choice to take. Now, what I do know is this though, when you first want to get started in coaching, it can become a bit of a daunting task. Like, how do I actually get started? Like, what's the first thing to do? What's the roadmap I'm meant to take? What if I'm no good at it? How do you change someone's life? What are you meant to say in a phone call? Where's the starting point? What is the actual lifestyle of a coach? What do they do daily? What do they do when they wake up? What do they do during the day? Where do they sit? How do they sit? There's a whole lot to it. I mean, it's like any brand new career you've never done before. It is a daunting experience to try and work out all of the unknowns. And I know that when I first started coaching over 11 years ago, I had all those unknowns. I was really at a bit of a loss as to what to do and how to put it all together. But definitely, 11 years later, having done roughly 1,000 to 2,000 hours worth of coaching every year for over 11 years, well over 10,000 individual one-on-one sessions I've done during that time, I have learned a thing or two. I've made a bucket load of mistakes, but I've certainly discovered the most effective and efficient ways for you to get out there and change people's lives, make a difference in the world, and do it without wasting any time or hitting these roadblocks that do not need to be hit. I think it was Warren Buffett that said it's good to learn from your mistakes, but it's far more effective to learn from somebody else's. So what I wanted to do is put together a webinar where I can actually go through exactly step by step of what you need to do that will allow you to go out there and become a highly successful coach. The name of the webinar is called How to Become an Internationally Certified Coach and Kiss Your Day Job Goodbye. Now, if you're wondering who this webinar is actually for, well, it is, first of all, for people who are wanting to start out as coaches. So if you've been interested in coaching or you've been interested in any form of healing or transformation or mindset or personal development or psychology, and you want to take it a little bit further and potentially turn that into a career, then this webinar is definitely for you. It's also for existing qualified certified coaches that are looking to learn new techniques and processes to add to their already impressive toolkit, or just to put another feather in the cap of the stuff that they know how to do and how to utilize that. But it's also for people who just want to learn some really cool things that they can apply to themselves to start to create some internal changes, to start to shift the results that are happening externally. And also if they'd like to get those tools and just share them with their immediate friends and family. So if you're in any one of those three categories, or if you're just curious in general, then my advice is register for the webinar right now. We've got a special gift that we are giving away for the first 100 people that do in fact choose to register for the webinar. But before I explain that special gift to you, I want to just tell you what's actually going to be covered inside the webinar. First of all, we're going to be showing you the complete roadmap that takes you step by step from whatever it is you're doing right now, that allows you to methodically move along the process. You can kiss your day job goodbye and get fully into being a certified coach, but doing that as a career. So how do you go from working your day job to getting certified, to getting your first clients on board, to refining your skills, your techniques, to getting to that level of success where you're starting to grow your business, have clients around the world, and really moving into that laptop lifestyle that people dream about, where you're sitting on the beach, doing a few coaching calls, traveling around the world, or whatever whatever it is for you. Maybe you just want to spend a little bit more time with the family or some more time doing the things you love. But we're going to show you the whole roadmap behind that. The next thing we're going to show you is the main reason why coaches actually fail. Unfortunately, there's an epidemic of teachers out there that are teaching what we call the guru technique, where the coach becomes sort of a guru and the clients look up to them, which is the worst thing that can happen to a client. We teach what's known as the empowerment model, and during the webinar, we're going to share with you the exact differences between the guru technique and the empowerment model and how you can make sure that you avoid not learning the guru technique at any time, but instead focusing heavily on the empowerment model. Because the empowerment model is what allows clients to fully become their most inspired, magnificent versions of themselves, become their own leader, and not rely on other people, and certainly not have to rely on a coach. I'm also going to be sharing with you the 7 most essential principles that make up good coaching technologies. As in, if you're going to use a technique on a client, and there are thousands out there. I don't know if you've been on Natural Therapies pages recently, but there are literally thousands of techniques that any human being can do. But there are 7 metrics that you want to run every technique through to observe whether or not the technique is the right technique to use. And out of the thousands of techniques out there, I only use a handful of them, and I've learned hundreds. I haven't learned all of them, but I've learned hundreds of techniques over the years, and I literally only use a very small handful of techniques on clients. So I want to be sharing that with you as well. The other thing that we're going to be covering, or some other things, there are some core myths, some mindset blocks that happen inside people's minds when they're wanting to work with clients, or wanting to take their practice further, or wanting to actually cross that line of being in a career and then getting out and going coaching. And I want to share with you what those top myths are and how you can actually avoid them so they don't act as psychological handbrakes from allowing you to move forward. The other thing I want to share with you, or some other things, is the 3 essential things that you want to look for when you're selecting a coaching program to run with, because you may have been looking already at different coaching courses to go with, and there are 3 key elements that must be present inside a coaching program if you're going to get a return on your investment, and more importantly, get the results with your clients and the financial returns that you're after. So I'll share that with you during the webinar, so when you go out looking around shopping for different coaching courses, you'll know exactly what to look for in a course so you don't get let down by the course that you've actually purchased. Something else I wanted to share with you is how do I put it? I want to explain the lifestyle of a coach, like what it looks like. What does a coach do day in, day out? Because a lot of people hear about it, we know about it, but what do they do? What is it? How does their lifestyle actually unfold? So during the webinar, I'm going to share with you what a coach's lifestyle is actually like, and you're going to be quite surprised by the amount of freedom in the form of free time coaches actually have to do the things they love. And most coaches just spend that free time and that freedom working on their coaching techniques because they love it so much. But you can do whatever you like with that extra time. And the last thing we're going to share during this webinar is a framework. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this, but every single problem on planet Earth, whether it's to do with health, relationships, finance, mindset, emotional states, illness, well-being, a career, anything, parenting, every problem on planet Earth can be solved by only one framework. And this is the most remarkable thing. Because when you think about it, no matter what the different flavors of a cake are, there is really only one way to bake a cake. So if I want to put a cake together right now, the first thing I have to know is what kind of cake I want to cook. Then I have to find a recipe. Then I've got to follow the recipe, and so on. Solving people's problems is similar. There is a specific recipe, a universal recipe, that allows a coach to solve any problem that a client has in the most efficient way. And we're going to share with you this framework, this actual framework of what you do step by step in the most rapid way to solve any problem regardless of the content. A lot of people out there are teaching you that it's all about the content, but it's not. It's about the framework and using the right one. So during this webinar, we're going to teach that to you as well. Plus, there's much more that we'll be covering. Now, here's the thing. If you decide to register right now on the page down below, we have, for the first 100 people only, a copy of our home study program called How to Become a Highly Successful Coach. It's valued at $47, and we'll be giving that for free to anybody who registers for the webinar and attends the webinar. So here's the thing. We have actually, it's a bit of a catch to it. We only have 100 spaces available for the webinar. So it's not really the first 100, it's only for 100, because after 100, the regos just cut off and you can't get in. So if you want to attend the webinar, put your details down below. Spaces are limited to 100. And if you're in that first 100, we'll actually give you a copy, a $47 home study program absolutely free of charge. Now, if you've got some friends that would like to come along as well, please forward them the link right now, forward this video to them, and make sure they register their details as soon as possible. Because as I said, once we hit that 100, it just cuts off the rego based on the software that we actually use. So I look forward to seeing you on the webinar, and bring a lot of questions along, because I'm happy to answer those as well. And we'll be covering all that information and more. So please register your details down below. Don't forget about the free giveaway. And until we meet again, share your light, live your love, and do whatever it takes to be your own best friend. I'll see you soon.